Welcome to the Isle of Skye. Good morning and welcome to the Isle of Skye.
We've made it to Skye. We're going to be doing 3 days here. This first day, in the central sort of area, so we'll give you a little guide to this kind of area of Skye. The day after we'll be in the northeast, and then finally on the last day we're going to head over to the northwest.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, so it's going to be
beautiful.
Really good 3 days. Already we're in love with this place. The drive is just magical, and we've decided to stop here at our first location, which is Sligachan. And there's a really beautiful old bridge here, and you can see behind us you get beautiful views out over the Coolin Ridge. So we're really excited to start exploring.
Sligachan Old Bridge is thought to have been built at some point between 1810 and 1818 by engineer Thomas Telford, and is now used as a footbridge since the new road bridge was constructed. Legend has it that the waters under the old Sligachan Bridge are enchanted and form a gateway to the fairy world. The legend says that should you be brave enough to stick your face in the water of the Sligachan River for a full 7 seconds, you will be granted eternal beauty by the fairies. If it sounds like an easy way to gain eternal beauty, then bear in mind that you are in Scotland and the weather temperature will be pretty close to freezing all year round. On top of that, you have to let your face dry naturally, so it's probably best to attempt this on a warm and sunny day, something we unfortunately didn't have when we visited.
Close by to the bridge, you'll be sure to notice the statue of 2 men gazing out over the epic Black Coolin mountain range. The men are Professor Norman Colley and Skyborne mountain guide John Mackenzie. Between the late 19th and early 20th centuries, they set out to discover, climb and map the mostly uncharted Black Coolins, and are regarded today to be among the greatest pioneering mountaineers of their time. The bronze statue was made by a local artist and was unveiled in late 2020 after many years of planning and fundraising. Okay, so we're just leaving Sligachan now. We've just walked up a very short distance to Sligachan waterfall, which is well worth the effort because it's really beautiful and not many people go up there.
No, I think a lot of people just gather around the bridge and then they move on because it's right next to the car park.
It's really easy actually, it's the simple path up. We're going to head back to the car and continue to our next destination. So we're now at our second destination of the day, which is the fairy pools, which is very, very popular.
Yeah, we could see the little road was very busy coming up and down. And then now they have a massive car park as well, which I was just reading that is part of a project to protect the environment, because obviously more and more people know about these places and visit these places. So they decided to build a car park. People won't park alongside the road, blocking the passing places and things like that, so that's quite good.
So we're just going to do a little circular walk all the way up to the fairy pools. There are a number of different routes you can take, each a bit longer than the next. We've chosen the sort of middle option, which is supposed to take about 3 hours. We're going to take the least travelled route up towards the pools, and then we're going to come down next to the pools and hopefully stop for a bit of lunch along the way. So we made it to the top of the ascent. Now we're going to head over that ridge there, along the edge of it, and then we're going to come back down past the fairy pools. So we're about a third of the way through the walk, but hopefully that'll be the longest part because it's all uphill.
Yeah. No, it's quite pretty because you see some waterfalls, but don't stop for lunch or don't stop at all because you'll be eaten alive by midges.
If you're here in the summer, they are horrendous. If you've ever been up here, you know. But as
Yeah.
soon as you stop for a second, they just swarm you, and it's just horrible. Like, we ate lunch on the go because you just can't stop for a second.
Stop.
So no, we're going to carry on, head to the fairy pools, and hopefully have a really exciting descent down past those.
The fairy pools can be found in Glenbrittle and have gone from being virtually unknown a few years ago to being a top tourist hotspot on the Isle of Skye. They are a series of natural waterfalls which form crystal clear aqua blue pools that are a popular place for wild swimmers brave enough to face the freezing cold water. Skye has a rich history of fairy folklore, which is probably where the name fairy pool comes from. However, there are actually no real legends or stories associated with the fairy pools in particular, and it seems to be a name given to capture the magical nature of the place.
The biggest and most impressive pools and waterfalls are all at the bottom of the path, closest to the car park. However, these are also the busiest by far. If you have the time to venture further, we highly recommend walking higher up the trail, where the pools and waterfalls are slightly smaller, but you will have plenty of them to yourself. They are equally beautiful, and you will also be closer to the coolins, which makes for more epic pictures. Okay, so we've just completed the circle around the fairy pools. Really, really gorgeous.
Oh, no wonder why
Yeah.
people arriving here from all over the place.
Honestly.
It's gorgeous.
Really, really pretty. The water is just crystal clear, and you can see a few people like braving it and taking dips, which we didn't do.
No.
But no, definitely recommend doing the circle round because you get some really epic views from up on the ridge line, and the walk is fairly straightforward. It's just one section. If you're coming up ascending the pools and you get to the end of that trail, it can be quite hard to find the trail across the ridge, but it is just a little scramble up a little scree slope and you'll eventually get to the path. So no, we're going to head off to our next location now, so we will see you when we get there.
There are plenty of other things to see and do whilst exploring the central area of Skye. A short drive from the fairy pools is Talisker Distillery, which is the oldest working whisky distillery on the Isle of Skye. You can take a tour, visit the gift shop and sample some premium single malt whisky, but only if you're not driving afterwards, of course. There are a number of viewpoints and laybys to stop at whilst driving along the A87 between Portree and Broadford. Make sure to check out the Highland Cow viewpoint just across the road from the Isle of Skye Golf Club. This is a very small lay-by located next to a field that is home to some beautiful Highland cattle that you can get very close to for some cool pictures. But be warned though, we drove past this lay-by about 6 times over the course of our stay and only saw the cows once. So if you do spot them, make sure you stop because you might not see them again.
Another great location along the A87 is the Bhradain waterfall. From the parking area you get amazing views over Loch Airnort and only have to walk about 5 minutes to get up close with this awesome waterfall. If you are lucky enough to see it after heavy rain, it will be even more impressive. So that concludes our little tour around the central area of Skye. In our next video we're going to be heading up to the northeast and hopefully get some pretty epic footage for you up there.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing, and we will see you on the next adventure.
Bye!
Bye!